I didn't write an intro, so yeah, there it is. When it comes to the reinterpretation of any media into another one, I found that is usually done in one of two ways. The first one I'll call the accuracy approach, and the second one I'll call the appeal approach. Now, there are many differences between these two reasons for reinterpreting one medium into another. A common example of this is books being turned into movies. First, before I detail their intricacies, I must explain what the difference is. When somebody reinterprets a medium for accuracy, typically that means that it is a fan of the original work trying to reinterpret the medium as accurately as they possibly can to be enjoyed in a new way. Even though this isn't a book per se, a perfect example of that I can think of is Shirley Jackson's The Lottery. And this medium transition, where this short story was turned into a short film, as well as a number of other things, it was as accurate as a transition as a story to film reinterpretation can be, in my opinion. Versus the case of, let's say, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief, where the movie reinterpretation is damn near nothing like the original. Save for a few key elements, it is almost completely a different story. For example, Grover's black. Grover was not black in the original story. But anyway, in another case that I can think of, Ready Player One, it is a perfect example of what I call the appeal approach to reinterpretation. This approach typically focuses on trying to appeal to somebody who would like to, let's say, just watch an interesting film instead of watching a film of the book. Now let's go into a more in-depth analysis of each of these approaches. Accuracy. First, we're going to start off with my favorite, since I am kinda an avid reader, somewhat shrugging emoji. Now for this one, there are fewer examples than the appeal approach, but we're still going to try, so bear with me. But as I stated earlier, for this we will be using Shirley Jackson's The Lottery. This story was originally written for an issue of the New Yorker that was published on June 26 of 1948, and it apparently received a lot of hate, which led to people canceling their subscriptions, but that's not relevant. That's just a fun fact for you. This short story actually has several adaptations, including a 1951 radio version, a 50s television adaptation, as well as a 1996 TV film. But right now though, I'm going to be focusing on the 1969 film version that clocks in at 18 minutes and 4 seconds, and I've got to say that is a damn long film in comparison to the length of the story. This short film was produced as part of the Encyclopedia Britannica's short story showcase series by Larry Youst. I think that's how you pronounce it. In short, this story basically tells about a small town that has an old tradition where people pick lottery slots out of a box, and the person that gets a piece of paper with a charcoal dot on it gets rocks thrown at them.
It isn't fair! It isn't fair! It isn't right!
And you know, here's a little rhyme that I came up with for that. Okay, now that that's over, and before you ask me in the comments, no, I'm not kidding, yes, I am deadass, and also this isn't a plot of a Blue M film. Anyway, after reading the original version of the short story, then watching the film, I can confidently say that they both can convey the exact same point. That meaning that the original story and plot are kept intact very well, to the point of being nearly indistinguishable conceptually. Appeal. Now let's compare this to the appeal approach, where more or less the idea of this approach is to make something that somebody will want to enjoy in a different medium than the original. One example of this is when books aimed for younger audiences are turned into movies. One prime example that I can think of is the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series. Real quick, for the three of you watching this from Wyoming that don't own a TV or the right to being subject to the American schooling system because there aren't any there, the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series follows the life of a middle school child narcissist and part-time psychopath named Gregory Heffley, and I'm not even going to go through the events of the books, which is a shame for those 3 people watching this video who snuck over the Wyoming border into another state in the middle of nowhere, but this time with Wi-Fi. In relation to this book, the first film was fairly accurate, and less so the second film in the series, Roderick Rules, which loosely follows the second book, and the third film of the A Diary of a Wimpy Kid series, Diary of a Wimpy Kid Dog Days, that followed the events of the fourth book even more loosely. I'm going to talk about the fourth film in the series, and This is a quote from the Wikipedia page. I know. You're in college and you're using Wikipedia as a source? This is a video, alright, for YouTube. Chill out. I'm not getting a grade off this. The quote is that this series is based off of the 9th and 10th books in the series, The Long Haul and Old School, and One Element, each based on the 7th and 8th books, The Third Wheel and Hard Luck. Whatever the hell that means. I'm not even going to go into the history or explain the story of the books in relation to the films because they're two completely different stories. But let's just put it like this. They're so different that it's not even worth explaining because it doesn't help my point anymore. This illustrates my point exactly, actually. These films weren't made to accurately portray the exact events that had transpired in the original story, but rather it was designed for people to go to the movies and pay to watch it. The reason why I call this the appeal approach is because the medium is changed from one format to another. It's changed because it's designed to be enjoyed in the context of that medium, or like I said, to get people to pay for it. I originally called this the capitalist approach, but I changed it to appeal so that the combined 10 brain cells of those Wyoming viewers would be able to understand it better, because I strive to be as inclusive as I possibly can in my videos. Thank you for watching. Don't kill yourself too fast, and don't quarantine. Go outside and catch corona and die so that more people are left in the house bored and that there are less YouTubers and that they come to my channel. Okay, bye.